Today, in my deep reflection that I have been doing really since the end of 2025 and the start of 2026, I made a revelation, particularly about female entrepreneurship, that I realized goes so many layers deep and is a conversation that I've quite literally never seen anywhere else. And I know that this topic has to be brought forward, and I know that this topic must be discussed as women continue to build not even just businesses, but empires and movements and revolutions with their work. And this is an unbelievably important topic in the world of being a woman anyway, but particularly when you decide to throw it on to female entrepreneurship, it is so relevant and so topical, and the conversation is non-existent. So we're going to bring that forward today.
Welcome to The Walking Trophy. The Walking Trophy is a podcast for high-level entrepreneurs and performers who know they were built for more. On this podcast, we explore how movement, fitness, and embodied discipline sharpen your leadership, regulate your nervous system, and expand your capacity to create, serve, and lead at the highest level. Through conversations on performance, energetics, and purpose-driven success, this show reframes the body as your greatest asset for sustainable power, abundance, and impact. Welcome to The Walking Trophy.
Welcome back to another episode of The Walking Trophy. If you guys are catching me on video today, I have very Godfather Italian mafia vibes going on with my fit today because it is when I drove to the gym this morning, 6 a.m. training session, I'm driving to the gym and it's 37 degrees. Now, I knew that I was raised in Boston. I'm aware that I grew my entire life in the state of Massachusetts, and 37 degrees in January in the state of Massachusetts would probably be you're going outside without a jacket and the teenage boys are probably wearing shorts. That's just how it was growing up, going to school. Alas, I moved to San Diego 4 years ago, moved to the West Coast 5 years ago. My blood has thinned, and I am not the indestructible woman that I used to be, aka never was. Was never a baddie with the cold. Really, it's never been where I thrive. I always tell people that heat is my love language. So as I drove to the gym this morning and it was 37 degrees, I'm thinking, FML. San Diego, I pay a sunshine tax so that it doesn't get freaking cold here. And alas, it's freaking cold today. So I promptly made sure to drive home and pull out my new turtleneck, which is where my Godfather energy is coming from. As I sit here, grand and royal, in my chair, looking like an Italian mob wife, I have a very serious subject to bring forward with you today. And that is a topic that came across my mind when I was reflecting a lot on how my business pivoted and shifted during 2025. I've been telling everyone I started the year as a self-proclaimed personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and I finished the year in a title that no longer resonates with that. I do not think of myself as a fitness trainer. I do not think of myself as a strength and conditioning coach because I have massively expanded the ways that I'm showing up. And that's just, I can't be contained to just that box anymore. While that's still a piece of what I bring forward, it's not the whole puzzle. So I'm thinking about the ways that I've made transitions. I'm thinking about the ways that I've grown. And I'm realizing one of the reasons that being a strength and conditioning coach in the way that I was so meaningful to me is because my entire MO, my entire shebang within the fitness industry was to create a new one. It was to rewrite the fitness industry because I was so sick of all of the conversation around physique and particularly around women's bodies. It drove me crazy. I couldn't stand watching teammate after teammate, friend after friend, woman after woman just absolutely tear herself down for not having the quote unquote perfect body. Though, of course, that doesn't exist because you get to a point where the outside world's like, damn, you got a smoking bod. And you're in here just trapped in your internal intrusive insecurities. So, anyway, my whole thing was I don't want you to place your value in how you look. I want you to place your value in how you feel and how you perform. That is where Train Like an Athlete came from. I also love working with former athletes. Like, athletes just have a special type of mentality that is so meaningful to me, which is why to this day I continue to speak to former athletes turned entrepreneur. Like, I love the qualities that come with this type of person are amazing. So anyway, I'm thinking about how it was so impactful to me to have this business where I said, this is performance over physique. This isn't trained to get an itty bitty waist and a six pack. This is trained for performance so that you can feel your strongest. I even loved working with the women in their 40s and 50s and 60s. That was my favorite population to work with because a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them were like, listen, I'm not trying to be like a 20-year-old on the beach with a bikini. I'm trying to be around for my grandkids and active with them. I'm trying to not get injured. I'm trying to avoid chronic pain that I saw my parents go through as they're aging. So they had this mission that was a lot more around function than it was around physique. And I really resonated with that. And so, as I was thinking about how I was transitioning away from that aspect of my coaching and transitioning into the heart led, mission led entrepreneur, which is so meaningful to me, obviously, but a piece of me has really been struggling. It's really been toying back and forth with the fact that I am, at least right now, stepping away from a niche that I really spent so much time pouring into. I'm not train like an athlete, fit by KP anymore. I've really evolved the mission and I've expanded what I want to create with my work. And a piece of me has felt guilty about that. I've felt like I was abandoning this mission that I'd spent so much time pouring into. And so through this reflection and thinking about what I do now and trying to really deeply, deeply resonate and connect with what I'm bringing forward now, which it does, trust me. I only made this pivot and this transition in my work because it resonates so deeply. But I was like, man, am I really leaving behind that aspect of fitness narrative, of exercise narrative, of influence that I was able to create in the fitness industry? And that is when I had this really, really important download. That's when I had this revelation where I went, oh shit. Here I am thinking that the work I'm doing now is a complete 180 from what I was doing before, which is funny because I still provide fitness coaching. I still provide training programs. That's still a piece of what I provide. But as I was looking at the bigger puzzle here, is taking a bird's eye view from what I create, I realized that what I did before as a strength and conditioning coach is at its core, at its center, actually still the exact same thing I do for the scaling entrepreneurs. And it all boiled down to this one common point. And once I realized this, I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's the key. That's the conversation. That's the influence. And no one's talking about it. Because what I used to do was I helped you go from absolutely tearing yourself down. I helped you go from thoughts of my body's not good enough how it is. I must physically torture it essentially into submitting to what I want it to be. And it was forcing all of these thoughts and these beliefs and these outside perceptions, it's forcing that onto your body. It was working against your body to change it from how it was. And my whole thing was, we're not going to force your body to change. We're going to invite your body to adapt. We're not going to force you to become a size 2 when your body's meant to be a size 8. We are going to allow you to discover what your strength and power looks like and how that naturally is going to melt onto your body through the way that you consistently show up and perform and fuel your body. Everything was about working with your body. Everything was about elevating your body. Everything was about taking your body with you and loving it into the place of power. And I realized that the work I do now with body-based scaling, the fitness training, sure, the priming the qualities you want to see in your business into your body in the gym, 100%. We are working power and resilience and capacity and expansion and evolution and identity into your body. We're helping elevate it to where you want to go. We're bringing your body with you. And the somatic facilitation is allowing us to listen to the intuitive communication of your body, the intuitive messaging, the higher intelligence that our bodies hold that our brain cannot even comprehend. It's allowing that to communicate with us, even though it feels negative in the body. What is it really desiring? What does our body really want from us? How can we show up for our body? And then turning that into a success code for the action steps you are to take in your business to help it grow and expand. That is the somatic facilitation piece of what I do. And so I realized, oh, it's not a circle on the left of the piece of paper and a circle on the right of the piece of paper, and there's no overlap. There was a very important Venn diagram overlap of these two circles that I wasn't seeing before. And it's that the entire purpose of my work that has not changed, even though it's evolved, is that I help you work with your body. I help you take your body with you. I help your body be your greatest asset, your greatest project when it comes to helping you get where you want to go, to embodying your highest version of yourself, to being the living, breathing embodiment of who the fuck you know you're meant to be, of tuning into your power by the way you express and train and treat your body. All of that is still the same. All of that is still the same. Whether it was train like an athlete or it's body based scaling, the fundamental underlying principle has remained the same. And the reason that this conversation has to be brought forward in the entrepreneurial space in a way that it's not right now is because of this one crucial breakthrough. So, obviously, the fitness industry, the reason women are taught to be small and they're taught to be skinny and they're taught not to take up space and they're taught that they have to look this one specific way is because of societal expectations. Now, in part, that is, the patriarchal perspective. The man came up with what he thought the perfect female body would be like, and the world just decided to go with that story, go with that narrative. Fuck the patriarchy. Now, the other half of this is you become a very impressionable and desperate consumer when the industry itself holds you to a standard that's difficult to achieve. You become a great customer because you'll invest in products and services over and over and over and over again until you achieve this, for some, impossible mold. And so I realized that within the fitness industry, the reason they tell women to look the way that they do and try to police women's bodies is because they want to keep women small physically and powerfully. They want to keep women small. They want to keep them in a box. Now, I realized that this is also exactly how the entrepreneurial space is working. They don't teach you to work with your body. They don't teach you to leverage your body. They don't teach you the power of your body being an asset. What they teach you is if you want to sell more, you got to look hotter. How do you look hotter? You got to be an itty bitty skinny mini. And so they sell you on this aesthetic that goes with the successful woman. What they're not telling you is that if you're hating your body into that mold, if you're hating your body into looking that way, if you are forcing your body to go through workouts that you don't want to do, eating food that you don't want to eat, or not eating the food at all because you think you have to uphold a certain aesthetic in order to have power or dominance in the field. Listen to the words I've used: force, hate. I don't think I said it, but submission. Even the language I use to describe these expectations. We know as powerful women, powerful entrepreneurs, those words, that mentality, that energy of forcing, of hating, of submitting, of forcing the change because it's not good enough how it is, that's not going to allow you to expand. You're certainly not going to be in your creative energy. You're not going to be in your highest energy. In fact, you're setting yourself up for massive misalignment because sure, you have this incredible mindset of a winner and you're taking this incredible strategy that your business mentor helped you come up with and you're putting yourself out there and you've got the ads and you've got the messaging and the copy and everything's great. But there's a misalignment because you're not bringing your body with you. You're trying to force your body. You put a bag over its head and you're dragging it along with you like a prisoner. And you're saying, this is how you're going to be. I'm going to go to that Pilates class 5 times a week. I'm going to go to that sculpt yoga class. I want you to stay small. I don't want you to have that muscle. I don't want you to have that power. I don't want you to have the dynamic speed. I don't want you to have any of those qualities. I just want you to look this certain way. And that's the only way that we're going to help you work out. And mind you, feeding you? Nuh-uh. Girlfriend, hell no. We got to fit into that dress for that business meeting. We've got to fit into that dress for that gala that we're meeting at, that event that we're going to. We got to look amazing from stage. The problem is inherently these are not bad desires. It's the method, it's the process for getting there. You're not going to these classes because you love them. You're going to these classes because you see the teeny tiny Instagram girls doing it and you're like, oh, that's what they're doing. Okay, that's how they got there. That's how I'll get there. It's the same thing in fitness. It's the exact same thing in the fitness industry. Nobody's teaching you how to align your body and calibrate it to the level of the powerful woman that is reaching millions with her movement. The globally scaling woman is not doing so because she has this pale little skinny frame that she's not feeding any food and she's not giving it any muscle and she's not giving it any life. It's her prisoner that she's taking with her. It's a hostage. At some point, that misalignment, that disembodiment from being the powerful woman, but feeling like shit in your body and feeling unworthy in your body and forcing your body to do things that you don't want it to do, forcing it to show up in ways that you don't want it to show up because you think that's what you're supposed to do, that misalignment is going to show up in your business. It literally is going to create an energy leak. An energy leak because you're not the powerful woman you're trying to be. You can't embody power if your body is crippling under the weight of feeling not good enough and forced into a different version of you. In the same way the fitness industry wants to keep you small, there's not enough conversation in the entrepreneurial space around how women can create powerful and strong bodies to help them lead with power and strength in their movement, in their words. You think you can move the room from stage if you don't have a powerful body to support you? This is not a matter of how you look in the photo. It's a matter of how your energy moves the room. It's a matter of how you're influencing people in that space. You don't have to make your body your greatest kryptonite. Your body can be your super suit. It can be your armor. Your body is what you get to leverage to help you get to the next level. It's what helps you scale. When you train power and strength into your body, when you train confidence and resilience into your body, that is a body that knows where it is going. It's a body that loves and embraces and accepts the powerful woman that it holds. Because your soul can be so powerful, but if your vessel's not aligned, then your vessel can't take your soul where it wants to go. And you have a mission. Obviously, you're mission-led, heart-led women. You want to speak from stages because there's women that need to hear your words. You want to go around the globe because why would you ever keep yourself in one country when it's the whole world that needs to know the information that you're bringing forward? You have aspirations that are much greater than just yourself. Meanwhile, the vessel that carries you through every experience in this world, you're shunning it into submission into something else than it is because you hate it, because you think it has to be something else. What the hell? Why are you doing that to yourself? Your body's not working against you. It's not something you have to change. It's something you bring with you, and it will adapt with you and evolve with you and expand with you. Because guess what? That body, that killer aesthetic you've always wanted, it comes from being in alignment. It comes from working with your body, not against it. That's the entire principle of the somatics, right? You're not going to force an emotion down and never deal with it. You're not going to allow a limiting belief to sit idly in your body because you're like, I don't have time to deal with that right now. You know, energetically, that's going to creep into your messaging. It's going to creep into your actions and your behaviors. You guys understand that concept. So that's why, somatically, we take whatever this supposed self-sabotage pattern that's coming up for you or this blocked pattern that's coming up for you, and we ask it what it needs. Your body tells us what it actually needs, and you create a success code off of that. You create an action step forward. You create a plan to be executed in your business in the way that you lead so that you can lead from a place of higher power where your body's like, oh, yes, that's exactly what I needed. But no one's talking about that. No one's having the conversation. Everyone's saying, work against your body. Just make sure your leadership is A1. No one's saying, hey, actually working with your body is what's going to allow you to have your leadership be A1. Women are constantly taught to stay small and to shrink and to not take up space and to be quiet. Don't make noise. Be perfect, whatever that means. But no one's giving women the permission in the entrepreneurial space to train their body, to create a body that embodies their power and resilience and creativity and capacity and expansion and evolution and identity. Because our body holds the code for our entire life. So you have to take your body with you. You can't expand if you don't take your body with you. Your body has to be a massive piece of the puzzle. You can't move forward without it. So work with it. Don't work against it. That is what I realized the entire mission, the entire fundamental underlying purpose of what I'm doing is I'm teaching women how to work and move and create and evolve and adapt and dominate with their body. That is quite literally the concept for body-based scaling, and I didn't realize the carryover. Here I was thinking I was abandoning this old mission that meant the world to me when I just evolved it into women that are going to help reach millions of women themselves. And pretty soon we're creating an entire army of women that are so embodied in their confidence, so embodied in their power, that suddenly the global narrative, the societal narrative, it starts to shift because they're in full body alignment with their message and their mission. And that's how they reach the masses. Not because they said, all right, body, in order to have influence and impact, you gotta look like this, and I'm gonna do whatever it goddamn takes to get there, and you're gonna have to suck it up. Nuh-uh. No. You're not gonna force down your limiting beliefs. You're not gonna force down the emotions you don't wanna deal with. You're not gonna force your body into training that you hate, and you're certainly not gonna force your body not to eat when it needs fuel. You're gonna work with your body. You're gonna create a system where your body is first. Your body is your highest priority. And from there, you're gonna find your energy. You're gonna find that magic, that momentum. From this place, you get to lead on a level that you've probably never experienced before if you've just been hating your body up until this point. I know it's not the fitness industry, and there's not a lot of business coaches or entrepreneurs that are going to lead talking about body image and about how you view your body and the way that you carry information in your body. No one's talking about that. But it's arguably one of the biggest factors that's keeping a woman from fully stepping in to her God-given power, to her right to lead, to her right to create massive movement through her mission. But that's where I can come in. That's my specialty. That's my area of expertise. That's my zone of genius because I have the background that I have. It's not just about fitness. It's about being a full body yes, full body alignment, fully, powerfully embodying the woman that you can lead as because everything is on board and everything's ready to go full steam ahead. This conversation's important and no one's having it because no one knows it's there. And so we're bringing this conversation forward today. And it's probably the most important conversation we as female entrepreneurs are ever going to have. So with that, please make sure you share this episode with your audience. Start a conversation around it. Send it inside your masterminds. Send it to your group chats with your fellow entrepreneurial friends. This conversation needs to be shared. This is important. And we can only expand the conversation by talking about it, letting more women know that the power is in their body. And if they are not bringing their body with them, they're leaving their power behind. And our mission, our hearts, our aspirations, our dreams as women that got into the space is a way too big for something as silly as societal conditioning to be getting in the way of us expanding and changing the world. Like, I'm sorry, girl, please. If you've broken every other mold, if you've been a disruptor in every other area of your life, you can certainly do it for your body too. It's just going to take a certain conversation and a certain level of awareness. I am so deeply appreciative of you for listening to this episode and for sharing it with your audience and for leaving a rating, a comment on the episode will help boost it so you guys know what to do. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel with this episode. Send me a message on Instagram at FitByKP. You know I love to talk to you. And make sure you tune in for the next episode because this is not the last time we will be talking about this subject. Thank you.